Hey, good morning. Uh, Let me share first my screen and then we'll continue today's session. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me know when you see when you see my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Okay. And you are able to hear me? Let me double check. Okay, so today's our session number 5. Welcome. And like every other session, this is also very important. Our goal, for those who have not seen me, I just put this slide about myself. I have 19 years plus experience, engineer from Associated University, Karachi, Pakistan, now live in USA. This slide I will go again and again in every session so that we revise our objectives for this session is learning the basics principles of programming, not just any language, but the basics of any programming language. And we will apply those basics in Python during this course. We'll also look towards the end of our course, look into the pre-built capabilities of Python, which is what makes Python most popular because it has a pre-built libraries. That one of those we saw last class, Pygame, for example, it has a lot of other libraries that you can use to achieve what you want to build. And then we'll apply those libraries. For example, we'll make a game during this towards the end of the session, and then we'll go for a project just like we did in our Scratch course. Like other classes, we'll go with the recap from the previous sessions, and today we'll go with operators, which are used in programming languages heavily and are uh, very critical when you're writing code. And if you notice, with every session, I'm going more deeper into the basics concept that are used when you're writing code. They're there, but you probably haven't noticed, or you're writing and you probably thought what it is. So operators is one of those. Data structures is a big topic, very big. So I will just start is from today, but this will continue. In every class, we'll have something. And data structure is something programming is based on. And you will understand why I'm saying this. So based on data structures, I will go a little bit today, but it is, if you don't understand directly something, don't worry. We'll see an example today and we'll try to understand what is an array. We already know variable. So using the variable as an example, we'll try to understand what an array is. An array is just part of a data structure. And so together with every session, we'll introduce different sort of data structure and we'll see what data structure is. And like I said, a lot of these things that I'm telling you, everything together brings the whole programming uh, approach, uh, and that's what makes you a better programmer. In the end, we'll try to use our array into a very fun activity, which we all call memory test game in our previous session. So we'll try to write that during our class, even if we're not able to because we are a bit a little late today. I'll type at home. Okay, so our session one, we covered programming is a way to communicate to a computer. Computer understand only machine language, that is zeros and ones. To make it easier for humans, scientists and engineers developed low-level and high-level languages. Low-level such as assembly language, high-level such as Python. So, we can easily communicate with computers because we cannot, uh, or it's not say if cannot, but it's not easy to write zeros and ones or remember those codes all the time. Python is a general purpose platform independent programming language. When I say general purpose, means you can use for many, many tasks. It's not like for a specific task. There are certain programming languages that are used only for certain tasks. Python is general purpose and platform independent programming language. That is, it can be used on Apple computer, it can be used on Intel computer, so you can use on iPad or Apple MacBook, or like I'm using on my Windows laptop. In the first session, we also installed Python 3 version 3.112.6 from python.org. If you haven't done it until now, please do so. We also installed Visual Studio Code, which is a free integrated development environment, or IDE in short. It is very important to have an environment where you type the code because it's very helpful because it tells you when you type the code if you're doing any mistake, it highlights it or underlined with a red line or gives you the reason why something is not working. So it is very important to install this. It will make your life easier. On top of Visual Studio Code, you also need a certain extension to make it work. So we installed Python extension within Visual Studio Code, and we wrote our first Hello World program. And all this was done during our session one. So it's available in the video. If you haven't done any of these, please go rewatch that video. If you have any question regarding anything, please reach out to us in the same chat group. In session two, we discussed and created a real world scenario where we also discussed like what is a computer program. We discussed like what is a single command call, and when we discussed that if you want to perform some tasks that require multiple instruction, multiple commands, you group them together, and that's what a computer program is called. And then we created a real world scenario where we simply try to instruct someone to get up from the sofa, move 10 steps forward towards fridge, then turn to the left, raise arm, pick up the bottle, then turn again towards the fridge, go towards the fridge, press the button, fill up the bottle until it's filled, then stop and then turn around and move back and give the bottle. We wrote all that instruction. That was the part of that session. And then we call that fetch water because we don't want to call those instruction again and again. So we group those instruction and call the fetch water program. The next time we want to call all that instruction, we simply call fetch water program. And the person will do the same thing. In session two, we also discussed what a variable is. That is a way to keep track of information, just like many tags we see in life. In programming, we see these tags for storing information that can change, for example, score in a game. We also discussed in session 2 the difference between data and information. A data is simply data. That doesn't mean anything. And information is when you add meaning to that data. And I gave you an example of my age, and I'm repeating it again, that if you store some like number 42 in computer's memory, it doesn't mean anything. It's simply 42. But when you store that my age is 42, that becomes an information. So that is uh, the difference between data and information. So when you are storing some information, computer or needs to know that what type of data you are storing. So based on information, you tell the computer, hey, it will be a number, it will be text, it will be yes or no kind of information. So when I'm talking about my age, it will be a number. Okay, you probably have heard age is just a number. So so you tell the computer, oh, I will be storing age, so it will be a number. So you have to tell the computer. So computer inside its memory reserve a spot and say this spot will hold information that will be a number. So if that spot, if you store text value, it will throw an error. Hey, this space is only for this seat is reserved for only numbers. That just imagine that way. And then in section 2, we also did a lab um, where we added two numbers using variables, and then we did the other lab where we took input from users and then added those. In session 3, we discussed why we make programs. It's basically just to make our lives easier, just to see what computer programs make difficult problems easier by uh, doing the repetitive tasks for us, doing the decision making for us. Some we can reuse some of the things that are required again and again, and some of the very difficult calculation that is hard for humans to perform, computer can do it because they have like high processing power. So all of these reasons we create computer programs. Session 4 was interesting because a lot of things we did was actual work. We did not do much talking. And that's what I've been saying, that with sessions going further, we will be doing more work, less talk. So we did a program that generated times table using for loop. We did a program that generated times table using while loop. And I copy pasted the code into the chat. I don't know if you guys have tried that yet or not. Then we also wrote a program that created a calculator, simple calculator that performed add, subtract, multiplication, and division. And then we changed that code to use functions. So in the end, I said the more you practice, the more you will get better. So I'm hoping that you will try all that at home, other than the class. And lastly, we also did a sneak peek into our game library called Pygame. Okay. Okay, so let's move to our today's session, which are operators. And you already have seen operators so far. When we wrote code, you probably have seen these symbols. And there are many types of operators that I have mentioned here. And there are somewhat already that you know, and there are some that you probably don't understand. So what I thought first to include all, but then later I thought maybe to keep it simple for now. So I'm gonna, although I have mentioned here all, so you know that there are that many types of operators available, but for now we'll focus on these four. That's to keep it simple. And don't worry about these. You know that there's some more to it, but at least you don't worry about it for now. We'll cover eventually. The most important ones are obviously the arithmetic, the assignment, and these ones that we have seen already, and you have been using it in our labs. So operators are the ones that they actually basically in mathematics you probably have seen what are the operators that basically perform some operation between the operands or the numbers or the variables on the left on the right. So if you have one operand on the left side and one on the right hand, the operator in between tells you what to do with it. If you have one and on left side and two on the right side, right? If you have a plus in between, you know what to do with it. If you have a minus in between, you know what to do with it. So that's what operators are. So first up, arithmetic operators. So very obvious. The arithmetic operators basically are used with numeric values to perform common mathematical operations that I was just talking about. Like if you have addition, you will simply do like 1 plus 1 or x plus y in this example. Or subtraction is like minus. Multiplication, we use uh, steric sign, just like this. Division, we use division, just like this. Modulus, that's probably, I'm not sure if you have used it or not, but modulus is basically the remainder. If you remember, there are uh, some of the division that are not completely divisible. Like so, you have some remainder. So this operator gives you the remainder value. Like if you divide, uh, let's say, 4 divided by 3, you will have some remainder, and that's what this operator will give you. Okay? And this is exponentiation. That means the power. If you are aware of like when you want to specify power of some, like for example, 2 to the power of, if you are aware already, that's fine. If you're not, then you ignore for now. But that's basically to specify the exponent value of, for example, x to the power 4. Like power is something multiplied by itself. Like 2 to the power 4 means multiply 2 by itself 4 times. So that it means. So if you are not familiar with it, just ignore it. A floor division is something which means that when you divide something, in this case, in modulus, you were printing only the remainder. But here, floor division, if you have double division sign, that means that you just need to get the roundup value. If your answer after division is 3.75, you just want to see 3. You don't want to see 0.75. So that's what it means. So not to get all confused by this, you probably don't need all these, but I just want to go over that these are the operators that are available for you to use. And this is when you are programming, when you are creating your logic, these are the things that becomes handy to use that, hey, I want to add something, so this will be the operator. I want to get just remainder of something. Oh, so I'll use this operator. Okay. The next type of operators for today, although so many, is the assignment operators. And we've talked about variables. We always talked about assigning values, reading. So these are used when you need to assign value to the name tags or variables that we talked about. Remember, we create a variable. Now we need to assign value into that variable. So this is the assignment variable, assignment operators. And you can see there's so many. Again, you don't have to worry about remembering all these, but at least you know that there are operators that are used to assign values. The simplest of those is equal to, when you want to assign some value to that variable. You notice we created a variable uh, number, and we assigned values like number equal to 5, for example, or number equal to 10. That means assign value of 5 into that variable. So that's what it is doing. Now that the other is plus equal to. That means add whatever value you have in already in, for example, you have previously you have saved value of 5, you just add 3 on top of it. So if you have 5 previously, it will become 8. Here's assigning the value is basically adding 3 on top of it. This one is opposite of plus equal to 3. Whatever value you have previously in this variable, just minus 3 out of it. And all these are just based on this. They're self-explanatory. Whatever value you have, just multiply by 3. Like if you have 5, for example, here is 5 plus equal to 3 means add 3 on top of it, minus equal to 3 is minus 3 out of 5, multiply equal 3 is multiply by 5, so it will become 3, 5 into 3 is 15, 5 minus 3 is 2, 5 plus 3 is 8, and 5 divided by 3 again is, and it is telling you here as well. So it would be somewhere around 3.7 something. And this is the remainder that I mentioned you. And this is floor. This is exponentiation. Sorry for not pronouncing it correctly. And these are now advanced operators that we have not covered yet, and we will cover in some advanced classes. Because I know it will become much more complex if I start explaining these to you. Probably you will forget these two. So important is at least try understanding these, because these will be used for now. Even I haven't seen this much, but it can be used. But these from here till here, concentrate on this. I have seen all these, but I would recommend that for now, concentrate on these from here to here. Now we come to comparison operators. Comparison operators are the one where you want to compare two operands or numbers or variables. Like for example, when you have A on the left-hand side and right on the or B on the right-hand side, now you want to compare rather than assign. Do you understand the difference? Here you have to assign a value. Here you have to compare the value. So if you notice, the first difference between assignment equal to and comparison equal to is double equal. So that's the difference. So when you are comparing two variables, means you want to see if both variables, the left-hand side and the right-hand side, if either they are equal, they're not equal, if they're greater than, if they're less than, if they're greater than or equal to, or they're less than equal to. If you remember, we did this during our calculator code. So these are the comparison operators. And this is how you type. Equal to, double, equal to. If you do single equal to, it will become an assignment operator. If you do double equal to, it will become a comparison operator. So when you want to compare two variables, you do double equal. If you want to assign a value from the right, whatever you have a right side into the left side of this equal sign, you use a single equal. That will become assignment operator. Not equal to is simply put it like you don't say not and equal to, you say exclamation mark and equal to means not equal. That means, for example, if you say 5 equal to 5, but if you have 5 equal to 4, so that means 5 not equal to 4. So you say 5 not equal to 4. Then if you have 5 greater than 4, 5 greater than 4, or if you want to see 4 less than 5, and then you can say greater than or equal to. Remember the code. Now, if you look at our code, we use this. I think I copy pasted the code last time. Let me see if I have the example. We see we are doing divide, we are doing multiply, minus, we are using the hey, less than equal to 10. We are using this comparison tool here. Why counter less than equal to 10? Means either less than or equal to 10. Like 9, or whenever the counter is either 9 or 10, it will keep on running. As soon as it becomes 11, it will stop. So these are the comparisons. And last one for today, I know there are more. Like I said, there are identity, membership, and bitwise, but just to keep things simple, the last one for today is logical operators. Um, Logical operators are used to combine conditional statement and conditional statement, for example, when you have two things, two conditions going together. And that's why last class we have one situation where I did not use these operators because we haven't studied it. So if you have gone through that code already, you probably have thought about it, but let me explain it. The logical operators are conditions as and, or not. What are those? So for example, two things. If this happens, then do this. Okay, that's one condition. But you can say if this happened and this happened, then do this. Right? So there could be condition like, for example, uh, um, like you're going to buy something. Like I'm just thinking of an example. If you're going to buy something, like there are if you go- going to buy, let's say, yeah, okay. So if you're going to buy a game from shop, for example, rotation could be if game that condition, but then you add another condition. If you find game in the shop, game is less than 100 rupees or $100, then buy it. So that if you find the game is 1,000 rupees or $1,000, then you cannot buy that game because the second condition is still not satisfied. The or condition means like one of the conditions is true. Like if you find a game or if the game is less than $1,000, then buy it. So if, for example, if you find it, or if the game is less than 1,000 rupees or dollars, in this particular example, it won't apply because if you don't have the game, then it doesn't matter if it's $1,000 what. But point is, you have one of the condition is true or it is meeting, then you can go ahead and perform that task. And not is basically opposite of uh, or basically if something's not equal to how you can say, like if something happens, then don't do this. It's basically for example, if rain happens, don't go to school, for example. You can type this, you can say, go to school only if rain happens to school, or you go to school if if no rain happens. Statement. So these operators are basically logical that put some sort of logic in your condition. So looking at our code from last time, if you see here, there was a situation where I was typing uh where did that code go for the calculator? Did I paste it? Okay. So there was a situation when we were pressing, let's say, S for subtraction and it's capital S for subtraction, and well, here it is. If you notice this, if operation equal to or comparison equal to, that is double equal to uppercase A or capital A, then do this. Then I have to tell if the operation is small a. So instead of doing, I could also use one of the operators here, and which one it could be, or, because in this case is either or condition, like either this or this. If one of this is true, then perform add operation. So instead of writing if command twice, I could have used or operator to do the same thing. So these are the logical operators that we use. And suppose if we want to do addition only if someone press two keys, like if someone press A, capital A and small a, then I would use AND operators. But obviously we don't want to use that. But these are the logical operators that you put in your code to depending on what the condition you want to put in. And like I said, the more we practice, the more we understand that how to use these values of this in our code. If you have any questions so far, please let me know. We still have more operators in. Okay. Any questions for us? Okay, so I would to start at a very vast topic that I was mentioning, which is data structure, which will be which we will continue throughout now. So remember we've talked about variables, how when you tell computer to store something inside computer memory, computer has a big memory, and you say, hey, I want to store my age into your memory, and you use a name tag of age, and computer store it somewhere, right? Now, consider example, you have many people's age. So computer will start storing age, and it will just randomly pick a position inside a memory and just save that information. So think of computer memory is like a big like area where different houses with different house and different house has different addresses. So for example, if you are living in your area, for example, so you say, hey, I want to save this ad name. Can you save it? So it will save in one house, and then you give another name, it will save in another house, then you will give it to save another name, and it will save in another house. Now, when you go to ask to read those names, if those names are saved in different houses, the computer processor will need to read from different houses. Even though it is doing very quickly, but it is taking some time, right? So it's not very quick. So for few of the addresses and few of the names, it works well. But when you are making a big software, it becomes very slow. So it's better how you structure, how you see your data, more you can say more organized way. You know how you want to store it, how you want to read it. You know what type of data you want to store, and how you want to store it, and how you want to read it. So when you know all these things, then you come up with a structure of data, right? And don't worry, like in coming session, I'll show you more like in diagram form and how it looks like, or try to show you how it looks like, because I haven't seen inside memory how it works. I only see the pictures, how it looks like. So when you want to store your data, you want to store all the data at one place. Just like if you have your notebooks and uh, reading books, if you spread them all around the home and now you have to go to school, so you will have to collect them from every room, right? So it will take time. What if you just collect them all together and put it in a bag? That bag will become what? A container, a collection, a big box, or obviously a bag that hold all the information, all the things that you want to carry. Everything inside that bag is what you need to take to school. The same way in the computer memory, if you know that certain type of data and information you need for certain type of work, you can put that into a bag or into a container or into one box. So there are different ways of storing that kind of boxes. And every box or every container has different structure. The bag is a different structure. If you like a plastic container, it has a different structure. A bottle, it has a different structure, right? Remember, if you are filling bottle with water, the bottle has a different structure. Just like I gave you example of bag, it has a different shape, different structure, different areas where you can put books, in different areas where you can put pens, all that. So same way, inside computer memory, you can store data in different structures. And that's what it means, like data structures. And so there are many structures available in which you can store data inside computer memory. So one of the structure that I'm going to discuss today is called array. Again, this all data structure is generic, is not specific to Python, but Python also support all these data structures. And it is critical because the way you store it, just imagine I give you example if your books are all around the home and you want to go to school, it's how hard it will be to just you don't know where the book is, where the notebook is, where the pencil is, where the pen is, and you're getting late for school, and then at the 11th hour you're just running around. And sometimes it is possible that your book is damaged. That can also happen. Maybe you have a little brother who just tear it apart, right? Or something spilled on it, some other thing, you know. So it is very important to keep it safe and you know where it is. So kind of make it organized. The same way we store data inside computer memory in an organized way. So one of the ways of keeping data organized while programming called arrays. So array is a special variable, and we already know what a variable is. Variable is something that stores information. So array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at a time. Just like your Mac, it can hold more than one in a notebook. If you have a list of items, list of car names, for example, storing the car in single variable could look like this. If you have list of cars, you can store values like this. The car one is this, car two is this, car three is this. Now, if you want to read all those, you have to call those variables separately. Hey, I want to read car one value. Now I want to read car two value. I want to read car three value. So how many lines of code you need if you have 300 cars like this? 300 lines of code. In one of our purpose of programming is to make our lives easier, not more harder, right? So if you're typing more code, then we are making our life more difficult. So one of our purpose of programming is to make our life easier, and this is also important that we write less code to do more tasks. So if we are writing 300 lines of code to read just 300 values, it does not look like a programming, it's just like we're coding. And I explain you more. So imagine this if I ask you to print your name on a computer, or like using Python 10 times, and you say print my name, print my name, print my name, print my name 10 times. You are using Python, you are coding, but are you programming? No, you're not programming, you're simply coding because you're actually typing your name 10 times. But what program you are saying, hey computer, this is my name, print it 10 times in one line or two lines maximum. And computer does it for you. That's what programming is. Minimal or less lines of code, more work done. So that's a simple formula. So give this example, this doesn't look programming. So what's the solution? So we create an array, which is a special type of variable that can hold many values under single name. Like you have a single name, but it can hold many values, and all inside computer memory, all those values are stored at one place. So when you go to read those values, you don't have to run around here and there. But everything is stored at one place, let's say in one house in different rooms. So you go, okay, I need to get all my things from this house. So in room one, I get this value, room two, I get this value, rather than, moving around the neighborhood to get all your things. So for example, if you want to store the car's value here, you just create an array. You just say, hey, I want to store the cars, and you just keep on adding those values inside that variable. And you basically, inside memory, you create one variable and you say how many different boxes inside that. Uh, each box, you will store that value. And don't worry, we'll see an example here. So this is just the first introduction to array. So not to get intimidated by this, we will look into our simple program that we will create today. Okay, let's create our program for today that will use array. I'm creating a new program. Select Python. And I call it memory. Okay. Okay, so our comments, we can do this way, make it a little more. Just showing you different ways how you can decorate your program to look better. So we call it memory test game. Python. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. All right, so we will do this, and we'll do another thing today, which is called random. This will help us generate random numbers for time, for for okay. So we will put in comment, creating an array of length. So in array, you have to define how many boxes you need inside one variable. Remember, I told you create one variable and then you can store multiple values inside it. So if you know, like if you want to store many values, if you know the number of values you're going to store, so you tell how many values I need to store. So that number of values is the length of the array. So I'd say I need to store 7 value, let's say. And I'm just assigning a dummy value. So it will create an array of uh, that length, and I'm using. Okay, so I'm creating just like array example or number array. That number array. And for array, you need to use square brackets. So remember, if you see these square bracket, that means it's an array. And then I'm using this, and basically this inside a square bracket, these are the values and the position at which, like, this is zero position, the sequence, I mean, that's the number of the position of that box inside that variable. And you will understand. So if you don't make any sense, you will understand when we start using it more often. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I said 7, so there should be, oh, there should be another 0. Okay. Now we have to create the variable to store value of the point or score. I call point score. You can call a score, more famous. Clearing the terminal screen. Terminal screen, see, this screen always has something so we can clean it. os.system dot dot. This is how you can, remember these commands. You want to clean the screen. Some of the commands you just remember, so don't worry about it. That's what I'm saying. The more you practice, the more you'll get better. Print the welcome. And see, I am doing all these commenting, so I will remember what I'm doing. Okay, print. This is how you do print. Welcome to memory. Oh, test game. Welcome to memory task game. And then it's a memorize these numbers. Okay. And then I'm gonna comment following for loop. Now we have for loop would run for 7 iteration. And remember, iteration is the number of times some loop runs and generate and print random numbers from 1 till 50. Making sense so far? Okay. For, you can call it anything. I use I in range 7. Print what what is what was the what was number, comma, x plus 1, and answers another variable. Integer is what input from user. Okay. Oh, this should be I plus 1, not x plus 1. I just See, using Visual Studio Code helped me that something wrong with this. I got to know. Okay. So, okay. And then now we have to check if the answer entered by the user matches the number in that sequence. If the number matches, oops, if the number matches, then print the correct message and increase score. Now we'll see another if thing that is called else. Else print the wrong. Okay. I am checking if and if you notice, I am inside the for body. This indentation or tells that I'm still inside the for body of or block of code. If answer equals number and that's number array position I print correct in score plus equal to 1. That's the operator we use. Else, we haven't touched else, but see, this is how you can put an additional condition inside a if that if this happened this, else do this. Else wrong. It was comma number array. Here I'm gonna use wait for 2 seconds, then clear the screen. Time for sleep. Okay. Print the score before exiting the program. The score equal to gr score. Your or use word And this is just to give some space. And print game over. Okay, so we will need to do one. I think I need to do one more thing before we can do this. Okay, so let's double check our code here. There is some mistake here. That's the mistake here, right? Basically, what I'm doing here is generating a random number between, and this is what Python is famous. So I'm just importing a random library and I'm just calling, hey, generate a random number and save in the variable n. And then I say print n. And then number array and saving in this. And inside this array, I'm saving this. Okay. So I printed this. Then I need to keep this for some time. Keep the numbers visible for 5 seconds and then clear the screen. Okay, the time sleep 5, then os.system cls. Okay, then you have to do print user from print let start. Print each correct answer give you 1 point. Following for, I think this is the one. No. Following for you would run for 7 iterations and ask number in the sequence. Then I can use for x in range x in range 7. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, these are the number 34, 21, 46, 42. Okay. What was the first number? 36? Oh, 34, 36, 21. I don't remember. Okay, so we created our games. Let's run it again. Let's see if it's working at all. So first number 31, 31, 45, 31, 45, 40. So first number is 31, 31. Oh, correct. 31, 45. Correct. 40. Correct. After that, I don't. Uh, wrong. Let's say we created a simple game using array. I know we are much uh more above our time, so we can finish our session here, but I can copy paste this code in our chat. You can play around this. Uh, wait, let me copy paste it. So this is our chat. Okay, so this is our memory test game. Try it at home. See if you can make any changes to it. See if you can, because there are things that may or may not be working. Like I did see if you add numbers, if you add, for example, instead of number, you add characters, it will get errors. We have to put what we call exception handling. You restrict user from adding an input that is not uh, correct. Like for example, if computer expecting number input and user enter characters, we have to stop user from doing it. Otherwise, the computer will throw error. That sort of errors we have to stop as a programmer. That called exception handling. So see if you can look into this code and do some sort of exception handling. And with this, we can conclude our session for today. Please try this at home and see if you can make it more better. All right. I hope you enjoyed this session and try playing this game with your friends and see what they say about it. Any questions?